صاحب الزمان على سيدنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يا رب عفوك ورضاك وعافيتك يا ارحم الراحمين يا اكرم الاكرمين يا رب العرش العظيم اشهد ان لا اله الا الله واشهد ان محمدا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم علينا نحيا وعلينا نموت وعلينا نقبل استغفر الله استغفر الله استغفر الله كل ذنب ومعصية كل ما يخالف دين الاسلام يا ارحم الراحمين يا رب. تسوي يا سيدي مدد. What Maulana will open, I will talk. No, don't put anything. What Maulana will open, I will talk. I don't know what will open. So you will listen as I am listening. Only I am translating from the station of Shaykh and Oneness, and they are bringing from whatever they want to bring from where ocean of Sahib al-Zaman, of Awliyaullah, or Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, or Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu anhu, or from the ocean of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it depends to them. Only we are one sitting, waiting for some bones. The dogs what wait? To throw for them some bones. And I am like a dog on the door of Grand Shaykh and Oneness, waiting for a bone. I am not claiming I am a Shaykh or a Murid or nothing. I just, when I was 3 years old, I was in the door of Awliyaullah and Oneness and Great Shaykh as a lover, and I am still now as the first day I enter, as a lover, not asking except love of Allah Almighty, love of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, love of Oneness, love of Grand Shaykh, Awliya, the Bayt al-Nabi and Sahaba, Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Sayyidina Ali, Sayyidina Umar, Sayyidina Uthman, and all Ahlul Bayt al-Nabi, Sayyidina Fatima al-Zahra, Sayyidina Hassan al-Hussein, and all Awliyaullah, and all our Mashayikh of Tariqah al-Naqshbandiyyah al-Aliyah, and all the Imams of all Sufi ways, all the Awliya. There is no Sufi way. This is something they predicted, they as a something, how to insult the Awliya. They told them you are Sufi people. The Awliya are not Sufi people. The Awliya, they are Awliya. Allah saying in the Holy Quran, the Awliya are not Sufi people. The Awliya, la inna awliya Allah la khawfun alayhim wa la hum yahzanun. This is what Allah is saying. He is not saying lahum al-bushra fil hayat al-dunya wa fil akhirah. He didn't mention any time that they are Sufi. Sufism is something was used as before Islam, and when the ulama want to scold the awliya when they appear in time of Sayyidina Ja'far al-Sadiq and up, down till now, they used to say you are far away from the society, and you are not once so sociable with all people and common people, because you have your own miracles and your own way to Allah Almighty which we cannot carry. And for this Sayyidina Shah al-Naqshband radiyallahu anhu, Imam of the Naqshbandi way, he say طريقتنا الصحبة والخير في الجمعية, not في الجماعة. There is في الجمعية, which means the connection of the hearts by each other with the Imam, with the Shaykh, whom he is the representing in every period of time the secret of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and carrying the divine release that of Allah Almighty, which Allah blew it into Adam alayhi salam, when Allah Almighty created Sayyidina Adam, and he told to Malaika, I am going to make. He didn't say I want to create, I want to make in earth a Khalifa. He didn't say in heavens. Even Allah created us in heaven, but he told the Malaika, I want to make this creation in earth, to make this creation in earth. And for this Allah choosing the physical body, which is carrying the heavenly spiritual soul and body, to be from the elements of this earth, of this globe. And for this Allah Almighty, He say, when I complete perfect His creation, I will blow from my soul into His soul. And when Allah Almighty blow from His godly soul as a creator, from the soul of the creator, which cannot anyone imagine or describe or say how. But Allah saying in the Holy Quran, when I blow from my soul into him, all of you make sujood to him. No more he is as you think a human being, but now he is carrying from my soul. And his holy breath of Allah, the breathing of Allah Almighty by blowing from his soul into Adam alayhi salam, was carried in Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam by seal of Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, then 124,000 prophets, then by the Sahaba of Rasulullah, mainly Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu. And like this, Allah Almighty praising the awliya, ألا إن أولياء الله لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. Allah didn't choose for Rasulullah to be a Sufi one. Rasulullah was not a Sufi. You have one in the hadith, Rasulullah saying, I am a Sufi. You have any ayah saying, be a Sufi one? Never. There is no such thing, neither in the four mazhab or in the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or in the Holy Quran or teaching of Allah Almighty. The Sufism was coming from before Islam, whom they left all their kingdom, kings, princes, rich people, and they took off all their dress and were dressing by suf, by wool. And this wool in Arabic means Sufi, suf. And it comes to be then making this Arabic word to be westernized to be Sufi. And then every awliya who is not according to the mind of the ulama, they say he is a Sufi one. But really, you know, the awliya is awliya, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all prophets, they were not Sufi ones. All of them, they got married, they have children, and all of them, they used to walk in the markets to buy and or to be shepherd, or to buy their things, what they need. A Sufi one who will be the one who is ascetic, you say, or he leaves everything, no more to look at people and only to search for the reality, and all his food not to purchase to buy from the markets, but to eat the grass, leaves of the tree, and to be in jungles, in mountains, like this to live. And instead to dress by the dress of people, he will dress by the skin of goats or sheep, and like this. And it is wool, and for this they say Sufi from wool, and Sufism means westernizing this Arabic word to be Sufism. And this was before Islam. Before Islam, all the believers following the prophets at that time, they were as a worshipper, and they are awliya, saints. While after, between every prophet and another, and no more any believer finished, they died. So someone from here, someone from there in this earth, he say, I want to search for reality. I want to reach heaven. This is not a real life. There is a real life, he must reach it. And he used to leave his kingdom or leave his people and leave everything, take off the dress which is dressing of people, and cover himself by the wool of a sheep or goat or any kind of animal which he can hunt, and take his skin and used to dress it. And he used to carry a stick and to go and eat from the grass and the leaves and whatever he find. Never also he will eat meat at all. They will be vegetarian totally, only to search to reach to heaven. But they can reach to heaven, they can. If they can reach to heaven, then all whom they are following Sufism nowadays, they can reach to heaven. You see anyone who following Sufism reaching to heaven? No. While the one whom they are following, the Sahaba of Rasulullah, following the saints, the awliyaullah, and following sealed of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the sunnah of Rasulullah, and the sharia of Rasulullah, and the teaching of the Holy Quran of Allah Almighty, Allah saying, these one whom they are progressing in this way, I will open them the ways leading up to heavens to reach me. They cannot anyone fly if in the heavenly ways of Allah Almighty to reach the heavenly godly station without a spiritual or divinely wings to be addressed to him from Allah Almighty and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or the one whom carried the holy breath of Allah Almighty which was blown in Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam. Only the one who carried and were carrying this holy breath from Allah Almighty, they are the one able by this power, divinely godly breath from Allah Almighty which blown in Sayyidina Adam, to progress the one that to be chosen by Allah Almighty, that Allah Almighty will be opening for him the ways to heavens. Otherwise the ways of the heavens will not be open for everyone. Plenty. How much they are waiting as a waiting list on the door of the ways of heaven, and the ways of heavens, not one. Allah making ways to heavens according to the number of breathing of children of Adam alayhi salam. According how much in the 24 hours, everyone has 24,000 breathing. And this breathing, according to them, there is ways for heavens to Allah Almighty and to all godly station and heavenly station, and everyone different from the other. As the sun, when sunrise, Grand Shaykh said, Maulana, when the sun sunrise, it will give all the globe, wherever she is allowed to give rays and beam of light to every spot, the light of it will reach. If anyone can walk in these rays of light, in these beams of light, he will reach to the sun. But is anyone has such a shoes or a feet which can walk on light? They don't have. And for this Allah Almighty, when He chose Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, when she said, Maulana, Allah Almighty appeared to Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam by the reality of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam. And the reality of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, it used to be like a volcano, like a fire, so temper, so angerness. And for this Allah make his descending to talk with him and to appeal to him. It was like light, but light as a fire, representing the reality of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam. Never Sayyidina Musa able to see Allah Almighty. And he was seeing this tree as a fire coming from it. When he approached, he saw only light. This fire is light, nothing, not fire. And he was telling his family, I am going to get for you some of these wood or timber or branches of this tree full with fire, so that, because he missed the way, because he was immigrating from the city of Sayyidina Shu'aib, because he got married with the daughter of Sayyidina Shu'aib, and he was, after finishing the dowry, the mahr of nikah with the daughter of Sayyidina Shu'aib, Prophet Shu'aib alayhi salam, to serve him for 8 years, and as a donation from him another 2 years, 10 years, then Sayyidina Shu'aib told him, now you are free. And he was walking, going back to see his brother, his mother, his people, children of Israel, whom they were under the suffering of Pharaoh. And he missed the way, because totally darkness, this desert between Palestine and to reach to Egypt, and he missed the way, and it was very cold weather, like winter time. And so he told them, when he saw this fire, I will bring a branch full with fire so that you will be warming yourself, and in the meantime it gives us light to see our way, so not to miss the way which we must walk on it to reach to Egypt. And when he approached to the tree, he found that it was not fire, but looks like fire, but it's light. And then from everywhere, from nowhere, from everywhere and from nowhere, cannot be described from where, the voice of Allah Almighty calling him. Calling Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam. وإذ قال موسى لأهله إني آنست نارا لعلي آتيكم منها بقبس أو أجد على النار هدى فلما أتاها نودي يا موسى إني أنا ربك فاخلع عليك إنك بالوادي المقدس طوى. When he arrived to the tree, he told them, I want to bring for you some fire to warm yourself and to be seeing our way. When he approached to the tree, he was from everywhere, but nowhere. He was not seeing anything, but only a voice coming to him, telling coming as if from not only from this light, but from heaven, from earth, from everyone around him. Oh Musa, I choose you. I am your God. Take off your shoes. Take off your shoes. You are in the holy valley where your God is talking to you. And then Sayyidina Musa quickly taking off his shoes, and this is the meaning, as the ulama they said. The explanation of the ulama, how they explain it, totally different from the reality of it. And for this, Sayyidina Shaykh Muhaddin al-Arabi Qaddasallahu Sirruhu, and Shaykh said al-Mawlana, what he said, when Allah Almighty calling him, take off your shoes, which mean, oh Musa, take off your ego, take off your humanity, and come by my light from which you are created. I created you from my light. By this light approach to me, Ya Musa, and take off your shoes. And Allah referring to the egoistic and animalistic and the humanity of Sayyidina Musa as if they are the shoes which he was approaching to the fire, to the light of this tree. And Sayyidina Musa was all shivering when he was hearing this. And then Allah Almighty, He told him, I choose you, Ya Musa. Oh Allah Almighty, why you choose me? I am so weak and my tongue is not very good to talk, because when he was in childhood and he slapped Fir'aun, and he was only a baby of 1 year, not 1 year, less than 1 year, and playing with the beard of Fir'aun, he slapped him. Then he got angry, Fir'aun, and he said, kill him. Then the wife of Fir'aun says, wait, this is a baby, he doesn't know what he's doing. He said, how he doesn't know? Flapping me and doesn't know? I am Fir'aun, I am the God, and he's flapping me? Then she told them, let us examine him. So they brought for him a very nice sweet from milk, which and candies and this kind of colored pieces of candies in a plate, and in another plate they bring burning coal, and they put him and choose. Fir'aun, he told them, 1 year old boy, what is going on? He doesn't know even to say one word, Papa, Mama, like this. So what he did, Musa, he took the burning coal and he put it in his mouth. And for this he lost his tongue and was not able to talk, and his tongue was heavy to talk. And then the wife, his not the biological mother, but the mother which brought him up, she told her husband Fir'aun, you see? Then Fir'aun say, I forgive him. And so he told, oh Allah Almighty, my tongue is difficult. I am not even can explain myself to people, as my tongue is heavy. And so choose my brother. My brother Harun much more better than me, and he talk well, and also he's no temper, no angerness, no need to take off shoes because he has no ego or self, but he has a humanity and animalistic life. This you can, as you take it from me, take it from him, and he will be better. Musa, Allah Almighty telling him, since pre-eternal, I create you to be for me. I created you to be a chosen one to me, not your brother. You are the one chosen to me. If you look to all the hearts of children of Adam or children of Israel in your time, never anyone I create his heart to be stationed, godly station, heavenly station for me like your heart. And so don't try to argue with me, listen only. And what then Allah told him? Well, he was talking with him and telling him, God, your God is choosing you. And after this conversation, he told them, don't argue. Here, listen. What he was then saying, Allah Almighty, وَاسْتَمِعْ لِمَا يُوحَى. No more was talking between Sayyidina Musa, between Allah Almighty and Sayyidina Musa. And Sayyidina Musa Kalimullah, and the one who used to talk with Allah Almighty, and Allah talked with him in this ayat when Allah chose him, and after talking and telling him your God, then no more was telling him your God. He told them, listen to revelation now. Then was changed, because Allah Almighty, by the godly power of Allah Almighty, divinely power, He took off from him the ego of him by be, and was all the humanity of him finished, no more existing, only the light from which he was created, from the divine light of Allah Almighty, was existing by the light of Allah Almighty. And this light was approaching, and this light no more have the senses to listen or tongue to talk, and then it was revelation. وَاسْتَمِعْ لِمَا يُوحَى. Yuha, something, and talking, something. Talking, talk. Yuha, revelation. وَاسْتَمِعْ لِمَا يُوحَى. Listen to revelation. Then Allah Almighty by Himself, descending revelation through Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam to him, by saying what Allah saying. No more He was saying, your God talking to you now. What He says, Allah Almighty, إِنَّنِي أَنَا اللَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنَا فَاعْبُدْ. I am Allah, I am Allah Almighty. And no one is allowed to use the word I except Allah Almighty. Satan, when he say I am better than him, Allah kicked him out. Even he was the peacock of all the malaika, and worshipping day and night according to his life, 2,000 years, never leaving one footstep in heavens or earths except making sujood to Allah Almighty. And Allah Almighty, when He say I am, Allah kicked him out, and He cursed them and throw all his worshipping and make it like a dust. I am the richest, the wealthiest, not need for all your worshipping. Since you are I and I am I, two cannot be. I have no duality. Only I am Allah Almighty. To say I mean you are claiming yourself to be a God beside me. Go out. He kicked them out, Allah Almighty, and He threw him in this earth totally bankrupt. And like this was called instead to be the peacock or the boss of the angels, was bankrupt totally, and was called muflis, iblis. Iblis in the Arabic mean muflis, yani totally bankrupt, nothing remained, neither all whatever he was dressed by the divinely godly lights and jewels and all these decorated dress as a peacock. He was totally changed to an ugly creature with a tail also. And like this Allah threw him, because he say I am better than. When he used I, Allah killed him. Anyone use I for himself, Maulana say, and Grand Shaykh, Allah will finish him, will kick them out. There is no one there to tell to Allah Almighty I am. And for this, the whole Quran, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Allah Almighty dressing Rasulullah in the whole Quran, all the ayat of the Holy Quran, what Allah saying? By plural, we, my beloved Muhammad, we, my beloved Muhammad. And whenever Rasulullah giving a hadith, he never say I, but he say we. Everything, when you say we in plural, that means everything related to the I, Allah Almighty. Even Allah Almighty teaching, saying to His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the Holy Quran, all the ayat, we. We created creation. I am Allah. Then continue the story of Musa. Now not to go this ocean, let us in our ocean. Then Allah Almighty telling Sayyidina Musa, listen to revelation, I am Allah Almighty, and there is no God except me. And Allahu la ilaha illa ana, there is no God except me, except I, only God, Allah. There is no Allah, no any God except I, Allah. No more Allah using God, because God is meaning something and Allah Almighty meaning something else. God in the meaning of Arabic language mean Rabb, Rabbul Bayt, Rabbul Bayt al-Atiq, Allahumma ya Rabb Bayt Allah al-Haram, ya Rabb Bayt al-Atiq, all refer to Allah Almighty, but Rabb means the one who is the one, Rabb means the one training you, training your reality, behaving you, teaching you, educating you. For example, the husband, the man of the house, they will tell him he is Rabbul Bayt, the owner of the house, as if Rabbul Bayt in Arabic, Rabb is the same meaning giving as God, but not God. In English language, God means refer to Allah Almighty. But in Arabic, anyone who is a boss in his place, he is the Rabb of this place. He is the one mean Rabb mean the one who is your Rabbi, the teacher, the Lord, the one training, behaving. And so first Allah Almighty told him, I am, O Musa. When he first stepped near the tree, take off your shoes. اخلعنا عليك يا موسى إني أنا ربك. He told him, I am your God. يعني أنا ربك, whom I am well created you and training you and behaving you until I make you to be in this rank in my divine presence. No more the divine presence of the descendant of Allah Almighty in teaching and training and behaving, because already finished. Then he took off from him the shoes, which mean the all the humanity and all the egoistic self of Sayyidina Musa, and all the animalistic self, and all this angerness and temper, and he was come approaching then by the light from which created from the ocean of lights of Allah Almighty. And then Allah Almighty telling him, now you are able to listen to revelation. Now no more talking, but revelation. Wahy. واستمع لما يوحى إنني أنا الله لا إله إلا أنا. I am Allah Almighty, and there is no any other ilah, God, except me, Allah Almighty. Allah, then using the name Allah, His name Allah, no more as the one training you, behaving you, teaching you, educating you, no, but He using the name of Allah, the name of, as the descendant of the uniqueness and the absolute identity of Allah Almighty in the ocean of oneness of Allah Almighty, of Wahdaniyah, as La ilaha illallah, by name of Allah Almighty. And listen to Revelation, I am Allah, innani ana Allahu la ilaha illa ana fa'budni. Worship me, worship Allah Almighty, don't worship your God, because Allah Almighty is saying in plenty of ayat, أَفَمَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَ هَوَاهُ, about you mankind whom you are taking, your gods, whom you are worshipping, your desires, your ego, your shaitan, all they are gods for you. You are not taking Allah Almighty to be God for you. If it's Allah Almighty, the only God who training and behaving you, and you are taking Him to be God for you, then when you say Allahu Akbar, everything under you will be finished and melted and no more existing. Like this, Allahu Akbar. And for this, how much we pray, how much we do, how much say Allahu Akbar, even one hair in our body not moving. And then we say that we are big awliya and Sufi ones. Then Allah Almighty told him, I am Allah Almighty and only me, I. Don't use Musa anytime in your life, I. Always say we. Relate everything to me. And in our Naqshbandi way, to ensure the first thing to teach us at Maulana Shaykh Nazim, don't use I. Everything say we. And everything you own, say to us, not to me. If you say to me, finish, you will be kicked out from the eyes of Allah Almighty and Rasulullah. From when this is to you? Who giving it to you? You own it by yourself, you created it and own it, or Allah Almighty or created and give it to you. So you must say everything belong to every one of us to say. Don't say to me. There is no to me. This selfishness. Say to us. When you say to us, mean related to all the divinely godly word of Allah Almighty and all the descendants of Allah Almighty from all the divinely godly word of attributes and names and deeds. Then you related everything to Allah Almighty. Allah will protect you and protect whatever He give you as a trust in your hand in this life until you will be invited to Him. You leave everything and He will be inheriting everything. And for this Allah Almighty saying, you have nothing. You have nothing. Even your body not belong to you, or your organs and whatever you own not belong to you. Everyone is going to leave everything, and Allah Almighty is going to inherit the earth and whatever there is in the earth, and everyone returning to me. Inna lillahi, inna ilayhi. What do you mean?
To Him we belong, to Him we return.
So how to say this belong to me? You must everything say belong to us, to Allah Almighty. Not something to me. If you say to me, finish. And for this you see Maulana Shaykh Nazim Qaddasallahu Sirruh, whenever anyone come to him sitting with, oh mashallah, nice take. Oh mashallah, nice read, take. Nice tasbih, take. Nothing for you. It is for Allah Almighty, take. Allah will send another. And Allah will send much more better to him than what he did. Money they give to him by this hand he will give to another. Like this awliyaullah. Sufi people whom they choose to be in jungles and in mountains and in caves and eating the grass and the leaves, vegetarian, never also they, any of these kind of the materialistic and physical things of this life used to carry in their hand. Never money in their hand, nothing. They even no shoes in their feet. Like this they used to go searching for what? For reality. And Allah told them, why all this? Come to me, buy me. Come to me, buy me, you will find me. And to come to Allah Almighty, by Allah Almighty. Who is the door of Allah Almighty? From pre-eternal forever. Allah didn't say La ilaha illallah Adam Rasulullah, didn't say La ilaha illallah Nuh Rasulullah, didn't say La ilaha illallah Ibrahim Rasulullah, La ilaha illallah Musa Rasulullah, La ilaha illallah Isa Rasulullah, La ilaha illallah Buddha Rasulullah. No, he say La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah. He is my door. Come from my door, don't jump from the window. If you jump from the window, you will kicked out. The shaitan, when he comes from the window by saying, I am, dressing by all this proudness and hatred to this creation, whom carrying the holy grace of Allah Almighty, and who is carrying from a gift from Allah Almighty. And this gift, Allah Almighty, He poured it in Sayyidina Adam from his soul into this creation, Adam alayhi salam. And the one who carried this real soul, which coming from Allah Almighty, and who carried the breeze of Allah Almighty, which Allah blew it in Adam alayhi salam, the first to carry him in Sayyidina Adam was the atom of Rasulullah, sealed of Prophet, then 124,000 prophets, the assistants of Rasulullah and children of Adam, then the successors of Rasulullah, the Sahaba, and the followers of the Sahaba, and then the awliyaullah. There is no Sufism. There was awliya, because the awliya, they practice the same as Rasulullah practicing and prophets, because they dress dresses, they go and they get married, they have children, they go to market, they buy their things. And a Sufi one must not do all these things. He cannot get married, he cannot go to market, he cannot dress by the dress of people, he must totally be in the dressing by the skin of animals, and to be in jungles searching to reach to heaven. And Allah Almighty is saying, to reach to heaven, first of all, take off your shoes. To reach and progress well in the Sharia of Rasulullah, and all the Sharia of Rasulullah, never there is in it to say I. One awliya, one coming from his murid to visit him, and this everyone now use it. He knocked at the door. Whom? Knocking. I. The Shaykh is not here. Go. And so he was so astonished, surprised, this murid, Shaykh talking from inside. Shaykh is not here. Go. Then again and again and again, until he told them, learn how to behave and come, because this room, this zawiyah, this dawah cannot have two. There is no duality, no a second for me. I am already, not I am, but we. I am representing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, awliyaullah, the divinely godly word of Allah Almighty. And if you want to approach to this rank, you must come by Allah Almighty to Allah Almighty. Don't come by yourself, never. Allah will open for you the door. He will go, learn, behave yourself, and come. And when Sultan al-Arifin Abu Yazid al-Bastami, he approached and was on the door of the divine presence of Allah Almighty, and Allah Almighty was talking to a sealed of Prophet from the Holy Quran, was always Allah Almighty taking with Rasulullah in every less than second, always the voice of Allah Almighty and the training of Allah Almighty to Rasulullah and the ascending of Rasulullah by Allah Almighty to His divine presence, never stopping. no end for it, no stopping for it forever. And for this was telling my beloved Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam about the day where everything will be totally finished, all these universes, heavens, everything will be no more existing. Only Allah Almighty is existing. لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ, to whom the kingdom today? And Sayyidina Abu is listening, leaving the door, able to listen. He quickly answer Allah to لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ, to whom the kingdom today, my beloved Muhammad. But there was no beloved Muhammad to answer, because it was lights of Allah Almighty there. Rasulullah there, he said, I saw Allah Almighty by the eyes. I saw my God by the eyes of my God. He said, I talked by the divinely godly tongue of Allah Almighty. I was talking to Allah Almighty. I am making zikr by the name, uncreated name. For a creator, there is uncreated name, and I am making zikr by the tongue of Allah Almighty, to the tongue of Allah Almighty. No Muhammad at that time. And Sayyidina Abu Izz al-Bastami, what he said, when Allah saying, لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ, as it is in the Holy Quran, لِلَّهِ الْوَاحِدُ الْقَهَّارِ, for Allah Almighty, who make everything to be under His power, and finish everything and only remain Him by Himself. لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ, to Him the kingdom today. And Sayyidina Abu Yazid saying, replying, to Allah Almighty, Al-Wahid Al-Qahar, yani he was answering by the holy ayat in the Holy Quran. لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ لِلَّهِ الْوَاحِدُ الْقَهَّارِ. He said, لِلَّهِ الْوَاحِدُ الْقَهَّارِ. Go out! How you dare to approach to this door and to answer Allah Almighty? Whom you are? You think you are something to answer Allah, the Creator, my beloved Muhammad, who is existing by my existence and in my divinely presence, never even dare to answer. Oh, yeah, to answer. Mean you are saying, I am also. Since you are saying, I am, go. Try to behave yourself, train, and then come. Alhamdulillah, he said, Sayyidina Abu Izz al-Bastami, Allah kicked me out, but he say, train yourself, behave yourself, and come. Mean he didn't kick me like shaitan, no coming again, no, but come. And so he punished himself, Sayyidina Abu Izz al-Bastami, for 2 years, punishing himself because he answered Allah Almighty by not giving any food or any drink or anything to himself. 2 years without drinking, without eating, without anything, until he was totally a funeral. Finished. Now 2-3 days without eating, every one of us will be finished. How about Sayyidina Abu Izz al-Bastami Sultan of 2 years of punishing himself, not even giving himself a glass to eat, or an olive, or anything, nothing, no water, punishing, until was totally funeral dead one. Allah make him survive him by malakuti power, by godly life from Allah Almighty, and was also ascending him to the door of Allah Almighty. And was the same, Allah Almighty was addressing Rasulullah, لِمَنُ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ. But there was no more Abu Yazid al-Bastami, finished. To reply or to answer, nothing coming from him, no more existence for him, only the existence of the light of Allah Almighty by whom it is existing. No tongue, no mouth to answer or to talk. And Allah Almighty answering himself by himself, Lillahi al-Wahid al-Qahhar, the kingdom to me that day when I finish everything. Then Allah Almighty, bravo Abu Yazid, welcome, now you can enter to my divine presence. And then Allah Almighty just was making sujood between the hand of Allah Almighty in this high godly station, which was according to the rank of Abu Yazid, not reaching to Allah Almighty, no one can reach. Even no one can reach to the rank of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam or Siddiq, but he reached to his rank, which Allah created him for this rank. There he makes sujood to Allah Almighty, and Allah Almighty was addressing him by the attributes of beautiness and the attributes of majesty of Allah Almighty. By these two lights, he was drunk, only looking up. So when Allah pushing him by malaika, throw him down to the earth, let him in Zawiyah now. I don't want him back. Finish. He reached to what he must reach. And so he was between his murid, Sayyidina Abu Yazid al-Bastami, radiallahu anhu, Sultan al-Arifin, Qaddasallahu Sirruhu, Grand Shaykh, said, he used to be always, they asked him something, looking to heaven, under the lights of these two attributes. And Grand Shaykh, so poor Sayyidina Abu Yazid, by two attributes of Allah Almighty was finished. How if he was carrying what Allah blessing him as sealed of awliya from his attributes and Rasulullah. And then he used in every more than 10-15 times his murids to dress him. Even you poured water on him, chilly, icy water, not reaching to head, it will be evaporated from these two attributes of lights over Sayyidina Abu Yazid al-Bastami from Allah Almighty. All the dress on his body will be burned totally. When they dress him, quickly burn. Quickly burning, then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam making shafa'ah, oh Allah Almighty, at least keep from his navel to his knee to be not burning, so that not must not appear to be appearing. Allah accepting the shafa'ah of Rasulullah and make any place of his body to be put any cloth on them to be burning. Only from here to here, the same dress night change until he passed away by them. And one day while washing him, just not warm water, so icy water, washing him and evaporated. Never water will touch his body. And his eye open, they cannot close it. No one dare to look at his eye. Like fire coming from them till now. And all awliya till now, whom they are in between people, if they have not able to fulfill what written for them in Lawh al-Mahfuz to practice, they will go to visit Sayyidina Abu Yazid al-Bastami in his maqam and to look at his eyes. Just this light coming to them from his eyes, they will have a power in less a second to fulfill and to finish all what written in the day of promises and Lawh al-Mahfuz to continue of worshipping and practicing on behalf of the nation of Rasulullah and their murids, and also all children of Adam alayhi salam. And for this, you can notice this, but this time of Grand Shaykh Maulana Shaykh Nazim, the rank which led to them and the attributes was totally different. So highly ranked. Two attributes make him to lose his mind and to be like fire, his eyes coming and his body from light. And you see Maulana Shaykh Nazim, anyone, if he look at his eyes, you see them always red like fire coming from them, the lights coming from them. And this is jaziba, which was attractive, the lights of Allah Almighty and lights of Rasulullah, which addressed to his eyes from these attributes, godly attributes dressed to him. And by how he reached all this? By the perfecting and by the completing of Grand Shaykh to him in the seclusion, smashing him. No more was to be dressing the humanity as a human being, these elements, or dressing the egoistic or anonymistic or all these which mankind dressing in this life, no more. But he was turned to be in the last seclusion light, and when he was performing or conducting the prayer as Imam in Grand Shaykh. Grand Shaykh had 25 years old in the seclusion, and every time when Maulana Shaykh Nazim available, he would make him to be the Imam, and just was in the maqam of Grand Shaykh. He was in the maqam. Maulana Shaykh Nazim praying the Fajr, and he was totally not in his body, but in the ascending in the divine stations, which Grand Shaykh supporting him to ascend in it, all at a sudden he fall down, unconscious funeral. But Grand Shaykh continued the prayers, and the people, they want to cut the prayer. Grand Shaykh allowed them. He told them, keep. They said that, no more breathing, no pulse, finish. Leave, he will die. He will be again survive. And they left him for 1 hour, like this. Then Grand Shaykh looking at him, by the divinely holy breath of Allah Almighty, which dressed to Rasulullah and dressed to them, and by the power of the divinely secret of prophecy of Rasulullah, dressed to Siddiq, and from Siddiq to sealed of awliya, and from sealed of awliya to all the Grand Shaykhs, from time of Sayyidina Salman al-Farisi till the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah, and to all awliya, the lights of wilaya from him going. The one he looked at him, after left him 1 hour, like this, that totally. Then he looked at him, why be? Then he was survived by now malakuti life, by a divinely life, by a heavenly life from Allah Almighty. And then he was telling the Mawlana Shaykh Nazim that I was allowed, not they allow me, he says. He didn't use in his life I. If he once, I was sitting, and people sitting, not long ago, before he passed, and for some reason he say, I, astaghfirullah, no I. He said, one day, make me to be ascending and dressed by this heavenly life, then that day they allow me to enter to the divine presence of Allah Almighty and Rasulullah, and always I am in the right hand of Grand Shaykh, in his throne up, and throne of sealed of awliya, always facing the throne of sealed of Prophet in the diwan, under the dome in the throne of Allah Almighty. And like this was Mawlana Shaykh Nazim, one of his maqams. And like this, never anyone to say something belonged to me or I own this, but everything related to Allah Almighty. Never use I, you will be kicked out like shaitan. And so Allah Almighty said to continue our story, which we begin in it, to finish it. Otherwise we'll go from one ocean to another, because one Maulana talking and the station, then always taking us from ocean to another ocean, ocean to another ocean, that all people, they Allah finish, we want to eat, we want to sleep, but I will be dressed by power. For this I like to listen, much more than you are listening. And so, you see now I use I, astaghfirullah. Yani they make me to listen much more than they make you to be happy listening. I am much more happy because they dress me to be in happiness, spiritual happiness, heavenly happiness, which cannot be described. And so Maulana Qaddasallahu Sirruh, he was teaching us that to be dressed by Allah Almighty by the lights of awliya, and to be dressed by a feet and a shoes that can walk on light in the ways of Allah Almighty, because Allah Almighty so shining, sun nothing, so shining. He say, my face facing everything. All of you, I am facing you, facing all creations, my face. فَأَيْنَمَا تُوَلُّوا فَثَمَّ وَجْهُ اللَّهِ. Surah Al-Baqarah, read Surah Al-Baqarah in the second chapter of the first. Allah saying, فَأَيْنَمَا تُوَلُّوا فَثَمَّ وَجْهُ اللَّهِ. However you turn your face, however you look, Allah Almighty facing everyone. There is no, for Allah Almighty, any veil between Him and all His creation, as we have veil between us and Allah Almighty and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When this veil, you take them off, then Allah facing. You can see His face, you can see His lights, you can see everything. And Allah saying how much you will be doing and progressing in obeying me and obeying my beloved Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and obeying awliyaullah by me to me, not by yourself, by me. To me, I will dress you by shoes and food and shoes and divinely light to be existing by it, that you are able to walk on these rays of light and beams of light from the reflection of the holy face of the holy essence of Allah Almighty over everything, facing everything. Then you will reach. Anyone will walk on the rays of light of sun will reach to sun. Anyone can walk on the rays of the moon, he will reach to moon. But where is the shoes? Where is the feet to make you to walk on light? This search for them. And for this, for all humankind like this, except for seed of Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the Mi'raj, in the night journey. Don't sleep, Shaykh Sabri. What Allah Almighty telling Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam by beloved Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because when Rasulullah was stepping on the carpet of Allah Almighty, he wanted to take off his shoes, and Allah telling him, but Rasulullah was invited, and Sayyidina Jibreel take him from his bed, from his mattress. Was Rasulullah in the mattress? You put shoes in you dress shoes when you are sleeping in your mattress? For him, perhaps he sleep with shoes. Anyone sleep with his shoes or slippers when he is in his mattress? And Rasulullah was in the mattress, and Sayyidina Fatima told them, Jibreel on the door, he told them, let him come. And he entered, he told Rasulullah, get up as you are. Allah is inviting you. He didn't tell him even put a dress on you except what he was dressing in the mattress. And was taken by Jibreel alayhi salam and riding the Buraq. And when he was out of the door coming on the Buraq, there was a tree nearby the door, and the branch of the tree from the cap, which Rasulullah never used to sleep even without a cap, not a turban but a cap of him, by the cap of him, and Sayyidina Jibreel was dressing him by a crown turban from light from Allah Almighty. This branch was shaking because touched the cap, the turban of Rasulullah was shaking, and he took him, invited him, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I don't want to tell you the old story now because you are sleeping. He was invited in the Quds Sharif, Jerusalem, to be conducting prayer in 124,000 prophets. He led them, and then he continued his ascending to the divine presence of Allah Almighty, but there was no shoes or slippers in his feet. And what Allah Almighty, when he reached to the carpet of Allah Almighty, he was so, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a mood which now he was totally melted by the oceans of light over Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam, because Sayyidina Jibreel telling him, I cannot proceed one step from my border, I will be totally melted and no more to be survived Yawm al-Qiyamah. Only alone you are invited to the divine presence of Allah Almighty. And Sayyidina Jibreel also putting his hand gently on between the shoulder of Rasulullah and pushing him, putting him, go alone, my beloved brother Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And like this, Rasulullah just was entering, Maulana say, in these oceans of heavenly stations over Sayyidina Jibreel. From one heaven to another, he ascended 5 heavens to the ocean of Wahdaniyah, of oneness of Allah Almighty. From one heaven to another, 500,000 years of oceans of light, and all were addressed to Rasulullah until no more. He was Sayyidina Jibreel, who was from light, melted. How about the humanity of Rasulullah? Was totally melted. No more there is the physical body or the human body of Muhammad or Rasulullah there, but he was dressed by malakuti body, by divinely body, godly body, and by this body, the light body from Allah Almighty, dressed to him by the light, as he is the example, Rasulullah, of the divinely godly world of light of Allah Almighty. He was proceeding and ascending until the 5th heaven, there the ocean of Wahdaniyah, were the throne of Allah Almighty. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, at the door was a voice coming, don't enter now, beloved Muhammad, and the voice coming by the sound of Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, your God is praying. Your God is praying. Then all at a sudden coming the voice, now you can enter. And he entered, but he was so surprised, the carpet in front, Allah Almighty under the throne, this carpet for the carpet of the kings. How about kings of kings? Cannot be described even. And in every less than blink of an eye of our time, Allah changing the lights over this carpet in every second, or less than a second, less a blink of an eye, to 70,000 different colors. The rainbow has 7 colors, 70,000 colors in changing, and all these lights reflecting on coming over this carpet, they are reflecting from this carpet, because this is the carpet of Adam, no existence. They will go down it to be then existing by dressing the soul and by to have the body which is related to this divinely godly world of attributes, world of names, divinely godly worlds of names of Allah Almighty, then to the divinely godly worlds of deeds, to complete this light a 9 months, 10 day a seclusion in the womb of his mother, then he will be born as a human being after this seclusion. And all his senses, the divinely one, the heavenly one, the spiritual one in him will be working. But from the reflection of the people and his mother and the secondary meal, it will make them to be totally blind, and no more hearing, no more the tongue working, no more the senses even working to feel or anything, finished. They will be only his physical senses working. And for this you see the newborn just born, he closed eye and crying. You see one boy, a baby born, and he is laughing or smiling and open eyes? No, never. Because while these eyes are opening and seeing, these eyes must be shut, closed. And when these eyes are closed, not working, then these eyes will open. And then he will cry, this baby. Even he's a baby, but crying, why is crying? Pain? No pain. Why is crying? He's crying for what he missed from this journey from pre-eternal to this lower station, and then he is now in a station which is hated to Allah Almighty and to Rasulullah, and Allah make it the lowest station for the hatred and the egos and the satanic world of every one of us to be buried in this station, and then to go out from this hole, this grave is the door to Akhirah, to ascend again by your soul and by the lights of by which you are created from the lights of Allah Almighty and Rasulullah, to be continuing ascending to the divinely presence of Allah Almighty and Rasulullah. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And for this you see plenty of the one who want good end, and moments when they die, smiling, and the people around them crying. The baby born crying, and the people around his mother, oh, a boy, a boy, a boy, happy. Totally different. And so Allah Almighty, when he saw Rasulullah a little bit, doesn't know what to do, he told him, my beloved Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, since I create and I appear this carpet, I honored him that my beloved Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is going to step on you by his shoes. Step by your shoes. To Sayyidina Musa, what he said? Take off your shoes. To Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what he said? To seal of Prophet, step by your shoes, my beloved Muhammad, because he will be honored. The carpet, the godly carpet of Allah Almighty will be honored by stepping you by your shoes on it. And like this, Rasulullah stopped. He doesn't care, Allah ordering, stop. Which means no ego now for you, no humanity for you, no any satanic word on you, no any animal word on you. You are coming as a divine one, a malakuti one, a one whom dressed by me to represent me, and you are existing now by the lights from which you are created, and why you are carried from me. This gift which I, for your sake, blow it from me into Adam alayhi salam, the soul from my soul, and this holy breeze, divinely breeze, holy breeze of Allah Almighty. And by the divine breeze of Allah Almighty, and by this blowing, Maulana say, and Grand Shaykh, Allah Almighty give the talqeen to all whom they make by our Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and Rasulullah in the cave of thought. Allah Almighty, by this divinely breeze and by this divinely blowing of the soul into Adam, was blessing them. Allahu, 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 Haq, Allahu, 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 Haq, Allahu, 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 Haq. And all of them were sparkling then by the divinely lights of the holy essence, of the holy face of holy essence of Allah Almighty, and by the holy essence of the reality of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam to be lights. And for this, Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq was Siddiq, and how Rasulullah between children of Adam alayhi salam, like this Siddiq was in between the Sahaba, companion of Rasulullah. Until Rasulullah, he told to all the Sahaba, even to Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu, who is the Ahlul Bayt, he told, close all the doors of the Haram. Everyone used to enter to the Haram of Rasulullah from his door. He said, close all doors and keep only the door of Siddiq open, and all of you obliged to come to me from the door of Siddiq. And for this Rasulullah, making Siddiq to be, as Rasulullah, a special one between all creation, Siddiq was like this special between all Sahaba and all awliya today of judgment. And the heart of this reality, of these secrets, was the light of it was the seed of awliya, whom Allah dressed from him the light of wilayah to all awliya. As all prophets were dressed by the secret of prophecy from seed of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And like this, Allah Almighty telling Rasulullah, step by your shoes. And for all whom following this line, when they are well progressing in the Sharia, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا, Allah saying in the Holy Quran, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلًا. The one who do their best and progress in Allah Almighty and Rasulullah to smelt themselves and only the light of Allah Almighty with the existing, I will open for them, Allah Almighty will open for them the way leading to me and to my beloved Muhammad's reality, and they will be ascending by me, not by themselves. No more they have a self, no more ego, no more self. Because how many self the one of us has? You know how many? No. You know? No. And Allah Almighty mentioning in the Holy Quran, it is mentioned, but since you are not Arabic tongue, sometimes you are difficult unless to read the explanation. Allah Almighty saying there is the first type inside you I create is not a self, it is an ego, a satanic ego, which always orders you to do bad things. As Sayyidina Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, what he said, وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَأَمَّارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ. The first ego is the أَمَّارَةٌ بِالسُّوء, which ordering you to do badly and to disobey Allah Almighty and to obey Shaitan. The second self, the second ego on you, higher level, is the blaming one, which will blame you, another body inside. There are 7 bodies in this, and for this Allah saying, there is 7 earths in your earth. Your earthly body, it contains 7 earths. The first earth, the lowest one, is the one ordering you to disobey Allah Almighty and to obey Shaitan and your desires and to take them gods for you. The second station, the second body, earthly body in you is the one blaming you. Will tell why you did like this, why you commit this sin, why you did badly for this one or that one, why you are doing badly to Allah Almighty, why you are walking behind all which Allah say haram, don't do it, forbidden. You are it will blame you, and it's called an-nafs al-lawwama in the Holy Quran. An-nafs al-lawwama. And then the third self, third ego in you, what is called an-nafs al-mulhima, which will dress you, inspire your heart. Do this, do like this. If you do like this, you are going to be successful in this work, in this business, or in the way of Allah Almighty, in worshipping. And this is known as the self of al-mulhima. Take ilham from Allah Almighty, inspired by malaika from Allah Almighty, and inspiring you. Whatever you follow by listening to her and taking her advice, you will be successful. Over it, what? The fourth earth on you, what? النفس المطمئنة. يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة. What is the meaning of النفس المطمئنة? Which means dressed by calmness and peaceful from Allah Almighty. يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك. Return to your God. Return to Allah Almighty. This is the fourth earth on you. The fifth earth on you, what? راضية مرضية, is pleased by Allah Almighty. Allah is pleased by her. And the fifth earth on you, and radiyatun mardiyah, Allah is pleased from her. You are pleased from Allah Almighty for everything. You never see anything coming from Allah Almighty over you except you are very happy this coming from Allah. I am pleased with Allah Almighty. For me, everything coming from you, good or bad, there is nothing bad. All good coming from Allah Almighty. All goodness. Allah saying, goodness be rewarded by goodness. And هل جزاء الإحسان إلا الإحسان in Surah Al-Rahman. And the first one, the fifth earth, no more egos, they are self now. The self, your nafs, it will be what? The one which Allah is pleased from it. The fourth one, you are pleased from Allah Almighty. The fifth one, Allah pleased from you. And the one whom Allah pleased from him, when Allah look at his heart, or look at his face, at his heart, all the angerness of Allah Almighty will be totally extinguished. And Allah will be dressing mercies over people and forgiveness for the sake of this whom Allah is pleased from him. This self, this fifth earth on you. The sixth earth on you, what is the sixth earth on you? This was not anymore mentioned. It is mentioned in the secrets of the Holy Quran, coming from Grand Shaykh and Maulana Shaykh to us, to our heart, by saying the Muhammadi self. Then you will be dressed by the self from related to sealed of Prophet, related to the divine reality of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this was not mentioned because no one, it is mentioned in the secret of the Holy Quran because no one is able to read that except to be Siddiq. To be reaching to maqam of Siddiqiyya, then he will be dressed as Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq, by to be dressed, to be always accompanied with the worthiness of Rasulullah, and he will be dressed as self, Muhammad self, from the reality of Rasulullah. And this self will be light, self, from light. And by it you can ascend as Rasulullah, when he ascended to the fifth heaven, where he was stepping on the carpet of Allah Almighty by his shoes and making sujood, and happened what happened, then Allah Almighty making him Allah Almighty, by Allah Almighty ascending him another two heavens, but this not mentioned until the appearance of Sayyidina al-Mahdi alayhi salam, a descendant of Sayyidina Isa, will be given the secrets of these, and these are the two heavens which contain the secrets of the Holy Quran. And the first heaven is related, the seventh earth on you, the sixth earth on you, related to the self, Muhammad self, from reality of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the seventh earth now on you, what? What is the seventh earth? Allah saying seven earth. What is seven earth? What Allah Almighty saying in the Holy Quran? Not from my pocket. It is coming from the station of Monan Shaykh Nazim and the Grand Shaykh, and I am happy listening. For this take time, what I will do for you, why you put camera into where you want me to talk. When I open, finish, until they close it. When they switch on, finish, switch on. Switch off, switch off. Switch on, switch on. I cannot stop from myself. And then like this, Allah Almighty, what is saying in the Holy Quran, in Surah Al-Ma'idah, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ, how about when Allah Almighty, my beloved Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, will ask Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, you told people to take you and your mother gods beside me, you and your mother to replace me, O Isa. And Sayyidina Isa shivering, trembling. If was not Shafa'ah of Rasulullah there for Sayyidina Isa, never Sayyidina Isa will be saved. And he was so shivering and so scared. Allah scolding him. You told people to take you and your mother gods beside me. What Sayyidina Isa say? أأنت قلت للناس اتخذوني وأمي إلهين دون الله من دون الله. Sayyidina Isa shivering but replying, answering Allah Almighty, O Allah Almighty, my beloved God, O Allah Almighty, by your tongue, by you to you, I am saying, I am answering what you ask, because you ask, I must answer. This is the good behavior to answer. But by you I am answering, as you know, O Allah Almighty, I didn't tell them except what you order me to tell them. What you order me to give the message of you, that no one, no creation, no children of Israel or anyone of children of Adam to worship except you, O Allah Almighty. And I was witnessing them worshipping you when I was in between them, and no one else, neither me or my mother. I am witnessing they were worshipping. فَلَمَّا تَوَفَّيْتَنِ, when you died me by ascending him, Allah Almighty was sending Jibreel to ascend him to close the border of Adam, non-existence, the one must die. And he was died for several hours, minutes or seconds until he crossed this non-existence border to reach to heavens. And he told, oh, فَلَمَّا تَوَفَّيْتَنِ, Allah saying in the Holy Quran, فَلَمَّا تَوَفَّيْتَنِ, when you died me by crossing this, I was not able to see what they are doing. فَلَمَّا تَوَفَّيْتَنِ كُنْتَ أَنْتَ الرَّقِيبَ عَلَيْهِمْ, you were the one seeing them and knowing what they are doing and what they are worshipping and what they are replacing or putting beside you. I don't know. كُنْتَ أَنْتَ الرَّقِيبَ عَلَيْهِمْ, you are the one watching them, what they are doing. كنت أنت الرقيب عليهم تعلم ما في نفسي. What is the meaning? تعلم ما في نفسي. What is the meaning? You know what is going on myself because you created myself. ولا أعلم ما في نفسك. But never I can know what is going on yourself. Is Allah Almighty has a self? Yes, has a self. It is a godly self, uncreated self of Allah Almighty, related to Allah Almighty. And this in the Holy Quran, Allah saying, Sayyidina Isa was telling him, you know what's going on myself, but never I can know what is going in yourself because you are God, creator. No one can reach to be limiting or knowing what inside the self of the creator of God, of Allah Almighty, except Allah Almighty, because Allah Almighty, God, Allah Almighty, He is by Himself existing Himself by Himself. He is Al-Hayyul Qayyum. which means existing himself by himself. And like this, you know what's going on myself, but I never know what is going in yourself, oh beloved God. Allah ta'ala ma fi nafsi wa la a'lamu ma fi nafsi. In kuntu qulta lahum ittakhizuni, if I said to them, take me and my mother to be gods beside Allah Almighty, you know better, because you know what's going on myself. When I was in between them, while I don't know what's going in yourself, because you are godly self, I am a created self. تعلم ما في نفسي ولا أعلم ما في نفسك فلما توفيتني كنت أنت الرقيب علي. When you make me to die and to cross this for seconds, to cross by with Sayyidina Jibreel this non-existence border to be in heaven, as if he was died unconscious, then Allah surviving him by malakuti, divinely life from Allah Almighty, and was continuing his ascent to the first heaven, where he till now in the first heaven of in the heavens, which Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam is the keeper for them. And he told them, Kunta anta raqib alayhim, you are the one seeing and witnessing them what they are doing. In tu'adhibhum, because they did like this and they take me and my mother gods and worship, I was not witnessing them, you were witnessing them and seeing what they are doing. If you punish them for this, you are free, because you created them and you are the God, you are Allah Almighty, and they are only your slave and your servant, nothing, shadows of you, nothing. You created them. If you want to punish them, you punish them. And if you want to forgive them, you are the most forgivable one. He didn't say like Sayyidina Nuh, oh Allah Almighty, take them by flood, finish them, they are kafir. No, he say, they are your servants. If you punish them as you like, you can punish. In tu'adhibhum fa'annahum ibaduk. If you punish them, they are your servants, your slaves. You created them. وَإِن تَغْفِرْ لَهُمْ, and if you forgive them for this badness which they committed, because they missed the way, which I was witnessing that they were only worshipping you, Allah Almighty, with me, and I am worshipping you. You are our God. You are the most forgivable one. إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. قال Allah, Allah Almighty addressed all the prophets through the divinely godly tongue, translating the revelation of Allah Almighty, sealed of prophets. قال Allah, هذا يوم ينفع الصادقين صدقهم. This is the day where the truth one and the loyal one and the sincere one, their loyalty will be benefiting them, and they will be upgraded by me to be in the highest neighborhood to Allah Almighty and to هذا يوم ينفع الصادقين صدقهم. And for this, the seven self related directly is uncreated one. This what we want to reach is uncreated one related to the divinely godly self of Allah Almighty. Allah will send one beam of light from himself and put in the one, and this one will be then to be a divinely one. This is the meaning of Rabbani, which all they are saying, we are Rabbani, Rabbani. No one knows what is the meaning of it. وَمِنَ اللَّهِ التَّوْفِيقِ. Enough for you. Now this very high knowledge, enough. Now Mawlana, I am asking him to switch it off, finish. I am not able to continue, because there is another, as 7 earths, we have 7 heavens relate to the soul. This another time. It will take more than 1 hour also. And you will not find this knowledge in books. No. This was directly and transmitted like satellite live from the station of Grand Shaykh Mawlana. وما من الله التوفيق إلى شرف النبي وآله وصحبه عدد السادين عبد الله الدوسري ناصر الحقاني سادس الشيخ الذين نفع النفس من عبد الخالق الصديق لله تعالى الفاتح. Even I am so weak and nothing, but Grand Shaykh and Mawlana talking through me, making my heart to take from devastation and my tongue to translate first to me and advise they advise me first, and they advise everyone by this teaching. May Allah forgive us now. Can Shaykh Sabri continue sleeping? He was sleeping, a little bit tired. Dr. Hasni said 6 hours. It comes 12 hours. That we are totally broken back. Not broken heart, we are happy, nice trip, journey, but our back, no, why to say sorry? You are responsible, or this from Allah Almighty? He is responsible. Alhamdulillah. Allah likes us to see all these nice faces and sceneries, and Allah also dressing a big, huge elephant to welcome us. And giving salam, and yallah, ma'as-salam. Ma'as-salam. What you want more than this? May Allah forgive us and mercy us and change us from bad to good and husnul khatimah, and to take us from this life by ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah on Deen al-Islam, Iman, Ihsan, Tariqat al-Naqshbandiyya al-Aliyya, and Allah to be pleased from us and Rasulullah, and we also to be pleased from Rasulullah and from Allah Almighty. Hurmat al-Habib, Hurmat al-Fatih. Thank you, Ammar. Inshallah, you will be take water from the Kawthar of Rasulullah. Anyone want to drink? Now we go to sleep, or you have prepared for them something?
Some light dinner say. You can choose, but is it a Mongolian barbecue? Yeah?
Yeah, they're going to start.
Come.
Whatever. I eat little, I don't eat.
Oh, inshallah. Awliya Allah.